Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay, and in this video I'm going to talk about why some people might consider this phone a failure. I don't think it's a failure. I think it was way before its time, and I think it just wasn't marketed correctly. So let's get into this video on the Axon M in 2019. So the first thing I want to talk about is the hardware of this device. Now, so for those of you that have never held this device before, it's a metal body, it's a metal frame. And it's got a very strong hinge on it. So this basically is two displays, one phone with an additional display connected via hinge. Now that hinge is very strong. I had some hands-on time with this in the beta testing years ago, but I never got to own the device, and so I decided to purchase it for $160 or $157 or whatever I paid for it on eBay. Search eBay, and you definitely can get yourself a great piece of hardware and tech. Now, the hardware on this thing, it has one camera, and it's a 20 megapixel camera that shoots in 4K, and it's got two 5.2 inch displays that open up into a 6.75 inch display, which has just been totally awesome in my experience. The hardware on this thing is good. It's got a fingerprint reader inside the power button. It's got a button here that you can program to open any app you want. Now it says TV mode because this is geared towards people. The deal that they had with AT&T was about, AT&T selling their TV service, which I'll get into that later. It was a horrible deal that ZTE made with them. But this button right here can actually be programmed to any app you wanted to open. And you just press that button, it'll open up the app. Then you've got a volume rocker, a headphone jack, you've got dual speakers on the bottom. This is a huge missed opportunity for ZTE. So the hardware on this thing is really good. You've got one of the few phones that have side-mounted fingerprint readers. You've got a metal chassis, a metal frame. You've got two 5.2 inch 1080p displays, a 20 megapixel camera, dual tone LED flash, stereo speakers, if you will, and they are very loud. I tell you. And you've got software that is stuck on 7.1.2, but all I did was change the launcher and it flies. It was fast with the stock launcher, but it's even faster now with Nova Launcher or Pix Launcher or Google Now Launcher. Those are the launchers, the three launchers that I tried, absolutely blazing fast. You wouldn't even care that the phone is on 7.1.2. And I reached out to someone, and there was supposed to be an update to this to Oreo, but they scrapped it because they probably didn't sell a lot of units. So hardware on this thing is absolutely great, man. I mean, there's no reason why this phone should not have done well. Look at the hinge there. This is the back of the phone, and then I'll show you the hinge. You can see that hinge. Some people say, oh, it's got that split down the middle. I think after using it for a while, you won't even notice that. So look at that hinge right there. That's a very strong hinge, man. I'm telling you from experience, it's a strong hinge. Very good, man. This display is really good. Watching movies on it, watching videos, it's all good. So the hardware game was ahead of its time. They just got ahead of themselves and priced it incorrectly, but we'll get into that. So features and options, this has a ton of features. You have what's called the M mode. Basically, you can, split it into two screens. You can have one screen, which is the way I use it. You probably see me use it like this. Or you can have two screens. You hit the M button and it tells you down there what you can have. Focus that. There you go. You see that? So you can have two of the same screen. You can have one big screen, which is, again, the way I like to have it. Or you can turn off one of the screens and put it in tent mode and watch a movie on one side. It's just a great option to have. You can multitask really good with this thing. You can have Twitter on one side, emails on the other. You get the gist of it. You can do two things at once. And again, I'll say it again. You might hear me say it throughout this video. Huge missed opportunity for ZTE. A lot of people who hear about this phone and you tell me not to compare it to the Galaxy Fold. Well, honestly, I think you're wrong. I think that this is obviously a direct competitor that came out before the Galaxy Fold, but with poor marketing and no strategic plan from ZTE, it failed. If this would have had a different price tag, a lot of you guys would have bought it. Because you think about this, you have a tablet in a compact form size. The Galaxy Fold opens up to 7.3. This opens up to 6.75. This has two 5.2 inch displays, and folks, they're really good. I'm not just saying that. This was the display, the features, the options, all really solid, folks. I did some gaming on here. I gamed for about 2 hours yesterday, maybe even longer than that, because I wanted to see how well this processor will hold up. Now, this is the Snapdragon 821. Now, remember, this phone came out in 2007. So in 2007, that was a flagship processor. In 2019, folks, it still performs and pushes the heavy intensive games that I played with ease. There's a baseball game that I played and a fighting game, Shadow Fight 3, and then Major League Baseball 2019. Those are graphic intense games, believe it or not. They run smooth on here. And I'm surprised that at the time, ZTE's plan didn't work. Somebody didn't think about, wait a minute, I got a jewel on my hands here. I can really push this thing. Here's why I say this is a missed opportunity. First off, they put it only on AT&T, and that was a mistake, because AT&T's network isn't the best. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. Huge competition out there, and AT&T wanted the exclusive rights. You know, if you don't know, AT&T's always trying to get the exclusive rights to something, and companies make deals with AT&T because, well, we're paying. So AT&T struck a deal up, and you know, they got their logo on there. They did their thing. They struck a deal up, and they got this phone for their TV services. They wanted to sell you on something else. But the problem with that is they priced this phone at $850 at launch. Now, at the time, that was not a bad deal. In 2017, $850 for a piece of hardware like this was not a bad deal. This was more of a situation where people were like, who is ZTE? Or, I would never buy ZTE phones. I bought a phone from them and they didn't support it. They didn't update it. Things like that. That's a huge problem. Not marketing your product, especially when you have a jewel like this. I'm not going to blame the media this time. I'm going to blame ZTE. ZTE USA dropped the ball with this device. For all you people that keep saying, Jay, you can't compare it to the Galaxy Fold, it's not in the same league, what you don't understand is this came out in 2017 when the Galaxy Fold was unheard of. So the media did play a part in trying to trash this device, but let me tell you something. There's a backstory on why, quote unquote, some of the media, and you know who I'm talking about when I say the media, trash this device. This happens to HTC, and it really happens to LG and ZTE and Huawei. All these companies that have pretty much better products than your two favorite companies, they get slammed. So, but in this situation, I don't blame just the media. I predominantly blame ZTE for not taking advantage of a sweet opportunity. You had an opportunity to put this on every carrier, and you had an opportunity to price it well. You had an opportunity to sell it unlocked. Why didn't you capitalize on this? Now, fast forward, here we are 2 years later, and people see the Galaxy Fold and say, oh, this isn't in the same league. I can guarantee you that this hardware is probably definitely better than the Galaxy Fold, because the Galaxy Fold has a plastic display. This is two glass displays. And yes, it folds out like this. It folds out and it folds like this. It does that. Again, before its time. This phone is actually really good, folks. It's really good. The hardware is stunning, and the screens are really good. It has a Snapdragon 821 with 4 gigs of RAM. Now remember, we're talking about 2017. So you consider the price tag of everybody out there saying, oh, you know, I would never pay $850 for that phone. That phone's not worth $850. We're talking about 2017. So equivalent of that is today's Galaxy S devices that are $1,000 and above. You know, the iPhone's $1,000 and above. So when Samsung brings out a phone that's $2,000, twice the price as this, people get excited about it because, well, you know the brand, you know Samsung. This is a good product. They dropped the ball, and a lot of people are going to miss out. Now this device is, I don't know how old my device is. This was brand new, sealed in the box. I've done an unboxing for it. Check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Battery life, I was able to get about 15 hours with 4.5 hours or so of screen on time. And a lot of that was just gaming. But considering this device is from 2017, think about what you were doing in 2017, 2 years ago. Think about this. So when people laughed at the price tag of this because it was $850, then it dropped to $799, then they just pretty much couldn't sell it, so they just threw in the towel. Again, no marketing, no support. What do you expect? For those of you that have never experienced this device, you might say, oh, you're still in your mind mentally comparing it to the Galaxy Fold. Remember, that's 2019 device. This is 2017 device. You got to start somewhere. If this phone would have been on every carrier, especially T-Mobile, and it was priced at $499, which I think is a really good price for 2017, because look at what ZTE was doing back then. The Axon 7 is a boss-up device for $500. So maybe they would have priced this one at $699 and put it on all carriers. Then we maybe would see what happened. Also sell an unlocked version. But this will be another phone that I have in my collection, just like this phone right here, the Essential phone, that got crapped all over too, just because of the price. This will be a phone that I have that if you never buy it, you just don't know what I'm talking about when I say how good it is, and you know that you probably should have picked it up. That's just on you. This is an awesome phone, man. The speakers are loud, everything about it, I really like it. The only thing I think might need some improvement is maybe the battery. But again, this is an old phone. It's running a Snapdragon 821. It's running 2 screens on a 3180 milliamp hour battery. So that right there, to let you know, consider that. Yeah, I only got like 4.5 hours of screen on time with 15 hours of use on a battery. However, I'm pushing 2 screens right here. Think of Dolby Atmos, which this phone has. I plugged in some headphones and man, it is no different. I adjusted the Dolby Atmos equalizer to where I want it, and boom, straight boss up sound. So ZTE, you had a jewel, you missed an opportunity. This thing is sweet. I'll give you more coverage on it. And you know what? I didn't even cover the cameras. I took some video and it came out awesome. I took some photos and they came out awesome. I'll put them at the end of this. I'll go ahead and drop them in the video now. So I hope you guys enjoyed, man. I will see you guys in the next video. Look for more content on this phone right here. You're probably thinking, wow, Jay, you taking this, you sound deep on this. It's just that this is such a missed opportunity. And I really dislike when people crap on a brand without even having it in hand. You know, it's a missed opportunity. And hey, I got mine for under $200, even though it debuted at $850 and then dropped to $800 and was exclusive to AT&T. You can find these unlocked on eBay, is where I got it from. And I think I paid $157 shipped. I've already tried it with Cricket and T-Mobile. It works with Project Fi, you know, just different companies. It's a good phone, folks. I'm not telling you to run out and buy it, but if you have Cricket or AT&T, I think you should probably grab it. I mean, T-Mobile, any of them, if you can't find it unlocked, I'm saying, but definitely if you're on Cricket, which is what I have in here now, my Cricket SIM card. I used my T-Mobile SIM card in it yesterday, but the phone is awesome, man. It's awesome. It's just a good phone. Like, I don't think I can complain about is the battery being a little small. Other than that, you know, it's good. I ordered some screen protectors, so those will be here. I don't know if I'll do a video on something like that, but I had to give you an updated video on this phone, man, because the 2-year-old phone that people said was horrible or just not ready, look at how they're treating the current companies who are releasing phones that really aren't ready. This phone is ready to go. It was ready to go back then, but unfortunately, nobody even paid attention to it. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed ZTE Axon M. It's a hidden jewel.